Thank you so much, Danaher and the entire team. I see a lot of excitement. For the last couple of days at least, we've been preparing for this day. And yes, and yeah, a lot of buzz around innovation, what next, digital transformation, how do we take the big leap, where are we on the innovation settings across the world, is this the right time? Uh, and I don't think there could be anyone who can actually take this entire journey, and chronicle than Mr. Prasad. And of course, Sanjay Murdeshwar. He's seen several organizations, transformed them. Uh, so a great, proud privilege for me. And of course, a mention of Kejo shows how breakthroughs can actually change lives. I remember just a couple of weeks, probably a month ago, he was on a podium of a big conference, and Emma Walmsley, the outgoing CEO of GSK, was so absolutely impressed. Actually, she had a proper dialogue, with the parents and with him. So it shows, where we can actually go if the right steps are taken. So the task here given to me is about wrapping up a lot of things within about 35 minutes. And I hope it doesn't get too boring because, to have a conversation with Mr. Prasad is a challenge to me. He just wants very sharp, focused questions. So I'll try to do that. And hopefully it'll be engaging enough for the room. And
As long as you don't ask me to clap.
no, no, I wouldn't. Others will clap for you. Yes, probably a round of applause will really get it more exciting. Okay, okay, cool. Right. Okay, so I'll start right up. We have it's showing about 18 minutes. I probably will be 10 minutes extra. Yeah. So we'll start from here, sir. What has been your key takeaways in the innovation journey? I know you've championed many efforts through the highs and lows. You've kept your absolute ambitions in place. Last I heard in BioAsia, you'd said that I have this unfinished agenda of Dr. Anji Reddy to finish. Is this the right moment?
I just want to talk a little bit about my view of what's happening around us. Then I'll come to the journey of drug discovery. I think the three trends which are really, and Greg spoke about some of this. One important thing, I think, for all of us in the industry, especially in Hyderabad, which is a small molecule capital of the world, whether it is CDMO, generics, not drug discovery, but services and products, is that the pipeline is shifting dramatically towards non-small drug modalities, whether it's peptides, whether it is MABs, bispecifics, trispecifics, polyspecifics, ADCs, cell and gene therapy, all of this. So if you are a generic company, you need to think about this. Where is the opportunity? In 2010, I think, that's the time when we had a conversation.
Yes, in San Francisco.
70% of the pipeline was small molecules.
Yes.
Today it is about 40 plus something. The rest are all biological. The future is biological. Absolutely. And biological drugs are better. They are more precise. They are more efficacious. They have their challenges in terms of delivery, in terms of stability, all those. But as society advances with technology, we also have to advance. The future is biologic. And that is one trend I think we should all understand. Whether you want to remain in a small molecule or go across and build capabilities in large molecule, that's a decision for each company to take. That is one. The second one is China. Many of us in this industry have seen China as a supplier of low-cost intermediates, bulk chemicals in the beginning. And we were all thinking, how can they offer it at such low prices? This won't sustain, they'll die. And every few years, they moved up the value chain and dramatically closed the gap between US and themselves. China is today the number 2 innovator in the world. And I won't be surprised if in the next 5 years or 10 years, they become the number 1 innovator. And this rate and the pace at which they're developing is just unbelievable. The third thing is, of course, computation, AI, digitalization, all that Greg spoke about. And when you were speaking, I remember the Californian gold rush. The guys who made the maximum money were the guys who were selling pickaxes, and you are selling the pickaxes for the journey to innovation now. So, and the whole digitalization journey is super exciting across the value chain, not just discovery, manufacturing, everywhere. That's something all of us as businessmen have to see how we integrate digitalization to all our work. So that's about the three things that I thought I should talk, even though you didn't ask me about what was in my mind. In terms of drug discovery itself, I think it's a noble pursuit, and I see Venkat there. For decades, he's been working on drug discovery. Very brave guy. We gave up some time and then restarted. This is the third effort at drug discovery, different tiers. He stuck to his CNS therapeutic area, which is one of the most difficult areas. But the challenge of discovery is it's not a linear journey from generics or services to discovery. It's a very different game. It's like asking a football player to go and play cricket and score runs. This is not the same game. But industry thinks that this is all a continuum. You're moving up the value chain. You're from discovery, from services, from API, you can go to discovery. It doesn't work that way. The generic business is about taking a large number of small bets. The discovery business is about taking a small number of very large bets. So it's a different risk system. That is one part. The other thing is the skills required for drug discovery are very different. You need to be both deep as well as integrative in your thinking. You need to work from the patient back and not from the molecule back, but really from the disease. Deep understanding of disease biology, bioassays, understanding how your human biology works, and design products which we can address the therapeutic areas. So it's a very deep skill thing. And I and Venkat were just talking about talent. We have a large number of people, but we can't find the people that will make a difference to this effort. It's very difficult. We still have to bring people away back from the West. And China did it beautifully. They brought thousands of people who had deep experience in drug discovery, leading drug discovery efforts, teams, formed joint ventures, and built that very, very nicely. I hope we can do that in India. That is one thing we should look at. The other thing that we should learn from this whole thing is that China created a home market for innovation. There is premium for their innovative products. And the regulator enabled drug discovery, clinical development very, very rapidly. Today, we have a regulator who's from the industry. Dr. Reddy's alumnus. I see many alums here also. So thank you all. So in spite of that, he's not able to move a product forward. It's a struggle because the processes don't work efficiently. And then we don't have a home market also, which pays a premium for innovation. These are things which need to be addressed. And coming back to Dr. Reddy's, we are now in oncology. We had one phase 3 drug which failed, didn't meet the endpoints. We have 3 products in phase 1, phase 2. And hopefully in the next 3-4 years, we will have a product which will solve at least one major cancer in the world.
Sure. So hopefully third time lucky. But I must really tell the people around here, you all are really lucky. Mr. Prasad, when I interview him, he doesn't give me so many detailed responses. Very calculated what he says. So it's great to hear him. Okay, so Sanjay, your take. How do you see this whole paradigm actually shifting? Mr. Prasad already spoke about the very prominent shift that we are seeing from small molecules. And it used to be both a feeling of pride and also a feeling of limitation. Because we were seeing that, the world is going to shift to biologics. Your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I was going to ask that question to Mr. Prasad because he's more knowledgeable than I am. Because I think as you rightly pointed out, I think the 2-3 focus areas are certainly biologics, but also disease area focus. More or less 70% of the discovery in the world is focused on 3 disease areas: it's oncology, immunology, and oncology and neurology. I should know. So neurology, yeah, and therefore I think the aspect of being deep and not just wide, I think, is an important element of discovery. So building on that, actually, Mr. Prasad, with these disease areas in focus, you have the biologics, you have the mRNA modalities, you have the cell and gene modalities, you have the peptides. From an India perspective, where do you think India has the best chances of winning in moving any of these modalities?
The big challenge. Is this working? Yeah. So the big challenge is translation from lab to animal to humans. And in all these 3 diseases, that is the biggest challenge. Translation is the problem, especially in neurology. The disease models are so sophisticated. We can't do those trials in India. I don't know, later on you should ask Venkat where he does his trials. Mm-hmm. But if it is not a biomarker-based trial, the trials are not very well done in India. That ecosystem is still not mature. And the diseases that you talk about, oncology, maybe you have a biomarker and you have metrics which can measure precisely tumor shrinkage, survival rate, durability, all that. But the neurology part, I'm not very sure we can make a difference. It's a big challenge, unless you do global trials. And the biggest expense is the trial part, not the discovery, not the work that you do. So I'm not very sure. I'm increasingly seeing oncology as a better risk profile, because if you look at the way China has moved up, they've almost taken a combinatorial approach to ADCs, bispecifics, combining targets, combining a cytotoxic drug with a delivery mAb, which is a lot less risky in terms of efficacy readouts. And also, the trials are easier to do because there is a biomarker or a proper metric that can be quantified. So I think oncology is a good area. There are cancers which are very specific to Indians. Indian patient pool is quite diverse. The reasonably good research hospitals, like I think the Tata Memorial is one of the best. And there are some places where you can collaborate effectively in clinical development. So that's one of the reasons we took oncology as an area. Both the unmet need is high. Of course, there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more activity happening. But it's something that is easier to do than, say, metabolic disorders that we started with, or cardiovascular, where it's difficult. The standard of care is already high. So if you want to, the barrier is also high. The low-hanging fruit has been picked. So that's one of the reasons we chose oncology.
And the modalities, sir, which modalities would India be? The peptide world, the oligo world,
To be honest, we are all very early in this journey. Mm-hmm. We made generic peptides. We do peptide services, oligo services as companies. Money is here. You can talk a little more about that. But I think I would say we are at a very early stage there. This is where we should invest. That's where the world is going. We should invest in large molecules, various modalities, peptides, oligonucleotides. My pipeline is full of them. So it's a right reason companies are moving there. But it's a different game. It's not football.
If it's not football, what will be our Jemima Rodriguez moment?
See, this is a question you should really ask policymakers. Where is the incentive for innovation? What are the barriers to innovation? How can we create an innovative ecosystem, both in academia, in public funded research, all of those? See, without the basic sciences going up, you can't get applied science. And our spend in basic science are among the lowest in the world of a country of our size. If you take all the Western countries, including China, the amount of basic research that happens in the universities and the nationally funded research institutions is multiple times of what we do. So unless we do all that, where do we get the talent from? Where do we get the original ideas from? So breakthrough science doesn't happen in companies. It happens in basic fundamental public funded research institutions, academicians, and they advance the knowledge and then industry picks it up and moves forward. So if without that fundamental investment in fundamental science, as a society, we can't become a powerhouse. We use powerhouse very freely here. I think we should learn to walk before we run.
Because I would like to build, I would just like to ask a similar question also to Mr. Prasad is, and I will not use powerhouse for manufacturing at least. We are reasonably strong in the area of manufacturing of small molecules. I think that's a
generic small molecule.
Generic small molecules.
Somewhat, if you know the molecule, you can.
Yes. But of course, when it comes to capability, especially in the area of advanced R&D, tech platforms, regulatory science, again, putting your hat as a policymaker, what are the structural shifts are really required for us?
So, very good question. I think, firstly, there must be enough incentive for an innovator in the home market. I can't forever depend on the US system or the European system or the Chinese system to take my product and give me a premium. We should have a home market and we innovate for India. Indian companies innovate for India, Indian people, Indian patients. Develop a home market which has a premium for innovation. Not giving out money in prep, this, that. I don't really believe in doling out cash. I think the market forces should be enabled to price innovation.
Insurance in those areas.
Yeah, whatever. So that is one part. The other part is the regulator has a long distance to go. We're not asking them to do negative things or be lax on companies, but ask the right questions. The expert committee that you have sometimes talks a lot about the font of the presentation. And I have had this experience. So half an hour lecture on the font of the presentation. You want to use their time productively. And they need to be really experts. People who have developed drugs, who have approved drugs, not some guy coming from somewhere and sitting in the meeting, taking his sitting fees and going away. But I'm sorry if any regulators here, my apologies. But we need people with depth. We need people who will ask the right questions. We are okay to answer the tough questions. But if you ask trivial questions and waste the time and then come back again after 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, it's very frustrating. That was one part. That's changed now. It's improving quite rapidly and the drug controller is very well aware of this. He's changed a lot of things and I hope it'll improve. But we need to move faster. We have to move much, much faster. That is the second part. The third part is risk capital. We are all companies which are listed companies. Our shareholders want, they value us on PBT, multiples of earnings, PE. And the more you spend on R&D, the less is your PBT. So what do you do? So that's another thing we have to think about. The final thing is about, what was the final one? I lost my train of thought. There's another point I wanted to make. It'll come back to me. I'll answer it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, sir, you spoke about startups and the ecosystem that is actually required to build startups.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've seen the prominent, the very clear, push that is being given by the governments. In the US, we've seen that happening with a lot of collaboration with the academic institutions, and even large companies have come together and they have built, an example of J Labs, and Lilly is doing something similar. That part has been missing from the Indian companies.
You're right. So we have a startup ecosystem. We have some very interesting startups doing innovation, but they're resource constrained. They don't get a lot of funding. Companies, we are a generic company again. Where do we have the surpluses to go and put it in another company's innovation pipeline? So there needs to be and I'm glad this is a great announcement the PM made a few days ago about 1 lakh crores to be given to fund. But some part of it will come to pharma, I hope. So that's a good thing.
Right.
So we need, they're saying it's going to be a fund of funds, so it will be administered by other fund managers who are more able to make the calls. So that's very good. Funding risk capital. So we hope that all this will lead to an acceleration of innovation. And, a country like ours needs this to stand out.
Right.
Yeah, a country doesn't become strong just by producing commodities.
Right.
We need to go up the scale of innovation, make a difference in the world.
Right.
Look how much significance a DeepSeek made to the world's perception of China. We need something like that.
Right.
We need a DeepSeek in biotech, in biopharma.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, just building on that DeepSeek question, Mr. Prasad, I think discovery, I remember in my previous organization, our CEO always used to say, discovery is no more a lab challenge, it's a computational challenge now. And with India's expertise in technology, IT, data, and do you think we can do something there to accelerate some of the computational challenges?
My CEO is sitting here and is giving me a tough look, so I have to say something. CIO, maybe. Yeah. So I think technology has certainly made a huge difference. The advances in biology have happened because of the computational power of modeling proteins, and that data is available to everybody today. This was not imaginable 20 years ago when we started drug discovery. To determine the structure of a protein, you have to use X-ray crystallography, a lot of things which we didn't have access to. Today, all structures are known or solved, and that's an amazing advance. Yes, technology is a force multiplier, but the basic imagination of a human being cannot be replaced by technology. You still need the scientists, you still need the basic knowledge. You then use technology as a force multiplier. Yeah, but if you don't have the basic science, you have a lot of technology, you can't drive innovation. Yeah. It's like, you're designing a car, you need to have an engine or you need to have a motor, you need to have all that, and then technology software on top of it.
Right. So within the Indian companies, the shift has been very difficult from the generics to the innovator side, which China has done. I mean,
the Chinese have not moved from generics to discovery.
Right.
They had focused biotech.
Yes.
They had focused innovative companies.
Right.
The innovator companies are innovators. They are not generic
right from
companies.
The beginning. They have been. Yeah. But that has been a missing link, right, sir? I mean, you have.
That's what I said. You need a home market. You need an enabling regulator. You need funding. You need talent.
Mm-hmm.
If you put all this together, you'll have innovation.
But generic companies can also become innovator companies.
Right? I hope
we have
so.
Sun Pharma as an
yes,
example.
But they mostly bought the innovation. It's not in-house innovation.
Right. But even with that, they're
yeah. We can do it. I'm not saying we can't do it.
Right.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. We can't do it.
Right.
But you have to understand they're different games.
Yeah. True. So how do we actually see the shift? Large companies, we want, from my perspective, I still remember the time when fluoxetine first to file Dr. Reddy's happened. There was a windfall gain and the market actually shot up. Then, we had seen these. You yourself also participated in specialty products, the auto injectors for the migraine, which
you still have that.
So exactly. So that shift can still happen, right, sir?
So it can happen, and it has its own challenges. Those were incremental innovative products. In the current reimbursement regimes in the US and European markets, reimbursement is very difficult for incremental innovation unless the need served is very significant. So in a way that if you want to improve existing molecules, it really has to improve the standard of care.
Right.
And that's not an easy ask.
Right. And innovation.
That's an opportunity.
Yeah,
that's certainly an opportunity, especially for generic companies which are struggling to compete today in the US market, European market, struggling to compete with each other. Many of us are in this room. Right. We drive the prices down.
Yeah. So you mentioned about the local innovation should be made lucrative or profitable enough so that they can actually become bigger scale can be achieved. What's the recommendation from your side? Should there be no price controls? I remember you were very.
Yeah, I mean, so many of our policies don't make sense to me. Price control, I'll tell you, so there's many tablets which are costing 5 rupees a tablet.
Yeah.
Around a cost control, price control. And every year we have to submit data, this, that, and then 5 rupees becomes 5 rupees 50 paisa.
Exactly.
Is this a good way of using the government's time? And really, does 5 rupees 50 paisa matter so much to any patient in the country today? They don't get out of that thinking that this is no impact on the patient. And the life sciences, the whole healthcare sector needs a lot of reform.
Right.
And it needs expertise.
Right.
And it needs serious policy change. I don't see it happening. Sorry for being pessimistic, but that's how I've been. The last 20 years, you've seen me saying the same thing, but it's not happening.
So I appreciate. I think one of the things which you always hear, that the good part about India is that they'll disappoint both the optimist and the pessimist, right? Which is the another way of looking at it. So when you, what would you see success would look like in, say, in 2030, 2035 for the life sciences?
Yeah, we've said this actually, that we should have 100 new molecules come out of India and marketed worldwide. That is success.
Okay. So at the end of the day, productivity is molecules coming out of our labs.
Yeah, becoming therapies.
And becoming therapies,
yeah.
Of course.
2047, 100 NCEs,
yeah.
Right? Of which probably a lot will be biologicals.
A lot of them will be biologics, yes.
Right. So, sir, I actually had a conversation with one of the companies, very leading companies in CGTs, cell and gene therapy. And at the earliest stages, that company didn't really get any investor. There was a potential, there was everything that they can actually do for India, and there was lack of interest.
Immunite.
Finally, they could get Laurus on their side, and it worked for them.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
But it's a decades effort.
Exactly.
It's not like suddenly it's popped up and brought a product out. There's this academic guys who worked on the project, dedicated their life to it, to that mission, and they were successful.
Right.
In the circumstances were good that it worked.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
This is something that should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have always respected.
So why don't we give the permission for all the IITs, all the Indian Institute of Sciences, all the guys to go out and do innovate, enable them to do startups, make money, become entrepreneurs. Why not?
Sure. So basically, sir, this question is very specific to you. I can't ask that question to others. Just for the reason that, whoever I have spoken to has left Dr. Reddy's for other positions globally, within India, at very leadership roles. None actually have spoken a single word against Dr. Reddy's. The ethics, I mean, that is absolute. I would like to hear, but no, I mean.
Why do you like to hear?
How can an organization have such a big impact on and the respect and the dignity?
There are three pillars on which we built Dr. Reddy's. One is science and technology, which Dr. Reddy himself was a scientist, very passionate about. The second one was governance. Yeah. Good governance, ethical governance, doing the right thing all the time. We make mistakes, but intention is to be ethical all the time. The third one is about people, building people, enabling them, empowering them, and respecting them. And I think these are things which have held us,
absolutely.
Made us what we are.
Absolutely stands out. I have to say this, as a journalist, we really thrive on stories. But on this one, from Sandeep Sahani to a lot of people who have actually taken global roles, they all are so appreciative of this organization. So, I mean, it really stands out. And, not a generic mindset. They say that, they really like to see people talk about innovation, ask questions. How can we really thrive on new, thinking? So exactly what Mr. Prasad is saying. So basically, sir, the last one, you spoke about the trying to finish the unfinished agenda. How do we achieve that?
So we have a subsidiary which is focused on oncology research. We work on multiple modalities. We're working on small molecules in immunotherapy, which is not very common. We are working on MABs, bispecifics, and trispecifics. And we are also working on cell and gene therapies. So we know the cancer biology very well.
Yeah.
So we are agnostic of the modality. And we are also working with collaborators globally. And I hope to see a molecule in the next 4-5 years before I leave the company.
Right. No, so again, a difference is, I remember, sir, you had actually transferred some of your products to ICICI Ventures.
That was generics.
There were ANDAs. But again, so many attempts made on the NCE side, the very early, late 90s. But, you faced these headwinds and, lots of failures, including the last one that you mentioned. You still have that confidence and trust, right?
Persistence, I would say.
Yeah. That's needed.
Yeah, we have to persist. That's what we are going to do.
Right, wonderful. Last one from you.
No, I think that was really about it. I think persistence is the key word in discovery, I think.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the only differentiator that one can have. Right. Just to be at it again and again, because there'll be more failures and successes. Hopefully the percentage keeps on increasing over a period of time.
But I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I may sound
right.
pessimistic. I'm optimistic that India is changing. Mm-hmm. It's just that when you're in the middle of the change, you don't see the change going as fast as it should. But I'm sure we're progressing at a very fast pace, and we will get there. Right. There will be many companies which will become innovators. I'm seeing a large number of very interesting startups in Bangalore, more than in Hyderabad.
Right.
In Hyderabad, you see a lot of multinationals coming in, creating the ecosystem here for talent and innovation. But I see the Bangalore people, because the biology expertise is
housed there.
More housed in Bangalore than here.
Right.
Thank you.
One last question, sir. The discussion will not be complete without a mention of GLP-1s.
What about that?
How do you see this? Because, we have been busy with, stories on, just 2 days ago, there was a, price cut. Yeah. Before that, there was a second brand. Indian companies, I don't know, first wave probably will be about 15 companies. People say 6, 7, 8, but whoever we speak to, they say they want to be in GLP-1s.
Yeah.
How do you stand out, sir? I mean, do you think this will be again one more?
It will be commoditized.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Nobody will make money on GLP-1s from any general business.
Okay, so
if everybody has the same calculation, everybody has a 20% market share.
Right.
Cost leadership, first to market. It's going to be commoditized like every other.
And the innovator has already triggered
but it's still a good price. $150 is not bad.
Right. And the US Trump administration is doing its bit to really cut it down. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.